Señora del camino, muéstrame la vía para llegar al Padre, al lado de tu Hijo. To be a Rundgrim, the diary of a modern day Palmer. Well, hello everyone from Puenta de la Reina. I've recorded this podcast by a beautiful setting down by the bridge that this town is named after, and then it didn't work. I've recorded it sat on the beautiful terrace outside here, and it didn't work. So I'm now sat on my bed out the way. It was comfy bed by the feels of it. Oh, that's great. Oh, and not a bunk bed tonight either. I haven't had to have a top bunk yet though, to be honest, so I'm sure there'll be a time, but never mind. Here we are. I wanted to, I love sharing this with you. I really want you to feel very much part of that you're on the journey with me, because you certainly are in my heart and in my prayers. I wanted to talk to you about donativos because I stayed in a donativo last night. Donativos are very special places, usually run by parishes, and what happens is you don't pay as such, you make a contribution, you give whatever you can. So some people are on a real shoestring, and others can afford to give more, and the money that they make one evening pays for the food and everything for the next. And run by hospitaleros who are volunteers, who usually have had a very good experience of the Camino themselves and want to share that experience with other people. And they can come from all over the world, and it's great that they do that to help everyone. So when we arrived yesterday, we were given a lovely welcome, a nice cup of tea and some sweets, and then welcomed in, and our passport credencial. Get that stamped every day. We missed one day because we didn't. There was nobody in the church, but get them stamped. That's a nice thing to show that you're on the way. So I had them stamped, and then had a rest. Did some washing, put the washing out. Rained, brought the washing in, but it managed to dry. So at 6 o'clock we shone around the church, and then I celebrated Mass at 6:15. It was lovely to be able to offer that as part of a thank you for the religious community for their hospitality. And we had the Mass in 3 different languages, which people seem to enjoy and feel part of. And then we had an evening meal, which was a shared evening meal, pilgrim sort of menu, salad and tuna to begin with, pasta for a main course, and then yogurt afterwards, and lots, so everybody was having seconds and thirds, not just me. So that was great. In fact, the chap next to me was laughing, and he understood because he's a runner, he does Ironman and ultras, so he just laughed as I was helping myself to more. So we had a lovely meal, lots of interesting people, some of them from Taiwan, some from Ireland, a lot of French people, a German pilgrim, a Swiss pilgrim, some Spanish pilgrims, a lot of French pilgrims at the moment. They're different to the last time. I seem to have been speaking more French at the moment. A chance to try some Spanish as well. Then after the meal we had, which is very much part of a donativo, a time back in church of prayer and reflection, so that everybody has the chance to share why they are on the Camino. Everybody has a reason, everybody has a different reason, and it was fascinating to hear people's reasons. Many people were at a crossroads in their life. Maybe they'd changed jobs, they were thinking of retiring, they were thinking what to do next, that they were coping with a grief. There are lots of different reasons. They wanted to be more open to God. They wanted to do something positive after a tornado had happened in their country, and to show that, and one pilgrim wanted to show the parents that they could do something that was challenging. So lots of different reasons. And I talked about being a Palmer, and at the Mass, as you'll have heard, many of you will have heard me say, I talked about the call to pilgrimage and that Jesus walks with us. There are many people on the way who say they're not on pilgrimage, but I don't hold back from saying I'm very definitely a pilgrim, and I believe that this is a pilgrimage for those who can allow it to be. So there is a saying, little by little to become a pilgrim. I think that's true for all of us. There's also a piece of wisdom about the Camino, is that you need to be on it at least 10 days to let everything settle. A bit like a snow globe, you need to let everything settle down so you can see what's really important. So this is 10 days walking today. So last night was lovely, and after breakfast this morning set off, and I had thought that I wouldn't see anybody again because of doing slightly longer distances, but there are some people who are walking for longer distances in the day. So I'm happy about that, because there's a chance we might see each other again rather than not seeing any again. But whichever way it goes. So today, after going through Pamplona, so that was the first big city to go through. It's a bit stressful going through a big city, keeping your eye out for the markings, but they're very good because they put markings in the pavement, brass or markings to show the way, which are really useful. And so everybody else was on the way to work and to school as I was running through, and others were walking through. Then we went up the Mount of... Well, actually, before I got to the Mount of Pardon, there was a tea shop. And I said, I thought, I'm getting a cup of tea. I thought, well, I'll have a cup of tea and a banana. I went into the shop to get it, and they actually had walking poles, proper walking poles. It cost €14, so I don't know how long it'll last. But I thought, wow, that's just what I need now. Because the one I bought in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port is more like a touristy one. I was only going to use for one day, but I definitely want to have a stick with me on this journey. So I bought that and a banana and a cup of tea, and then we went up, and it was quite a steep ascent and a difficult descent. Somebody was telling me that in a lot of the guidebooks and the podcasts, the American pilgrims sort of warning people about that. We were okay today because it hadn't rained by that stage, so it was a safe descent. So I pray for those who were there, because it was afterwards, because there was a real downpour just before I came into Puenta de la Reina. So I'm now here at the Pilgrim Hostel, which is lovely, and then there's Mass at 7:30, then I'll get something to eat, and then have another good rest to, all being well, do it all again tomorrow, or something like that. So, keeping in my prayers, Señora del Camino, pray for us. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me.